this Take 5, we interview candidates for the Clovis Unified School Board.
The biggest thing that priority is trying to get the schools open for the people that want their kids back in school. We want to make it optional because we don't want to force anybody to come back if they're not safe, or parents don't feel they're safe, or teachers don't feel they're safe. But for the people that, when we do get the COVID in control here in Fresno County, our first priority is getting students back in the classroom.
The biggest thing that really drew me to looking into what's going on here and what can we do about it has been class size. That's something I'm very worried about because it impacts so many different aspects of both the experience for the students and the experience for the teachers. Again, this concept of allowing it to be okay to have 40 students in a class is really detrimental to their ability to get the face-to-face attention and support and individualized help that they need.
We're not the same community that we were 30, 25 years ago. We've had a significant change in demographics. We've evolved as a school district, and whoever steps into that seat needs to be creative on maintaining the standards and values, but also being flexible and nimble enough to be able to evolve and address the needs of our changing demographics.
I'm very supportive of Measure A. I've been involved. One of the committees I served on for a number of years before I was on the board was the Citizen Oversight Committee, which deals with the spending of the bond money and makes sure that the district uses the money for the items they said they were going to use them for.
Yes, I support Measure A. I'm in full support of it. I consider myself, fiscally conservative. So I think that as we grow and as we evolve, having the appropriate proceeds to have, top-notch facilities is critical for us as a school district.
We cannot, as a community, expect that we live in an area with fantastic schools and then not be able to, or not be willing to put in just a minimal investment in getting it there. It's not going to increase our tax rate. Yes, we're going to have to pay a little extra here or there, but this is for our kids, and this is a community for all of us. So whether it's someone who's grown up in the community, has graduated from the schools, and doesn't have kids, they want to be part of a strong community. And a part of a strong community is educating our kids.
Is Clovis Unified a racist school district? No. I think there is certainly some areas where they can improve. And I think, what we need to do is kind of look at our processes and procedures and make sure that we're have things in place so that all students, regardless of their socioeconomic status or their ethnicity, that they have fair and equitable opportunities to succeed.
There are simple steps that we can take to help broaden the scope of what we're doing. So for example, diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings, that should be a standard, and that should be something that we're even willing to offer to the community.
I think a lot of it is communication. We do have some groups that deal with different parents on things, and I think we need to get more parents involved that we may not have got enough people involved in when people were feeling left out. And so I think probably the biggest thing we can improve is communications out so that we can get people involved, so that we can make decisions that the whole community is involved with. We are going to be in a time that this is going to be definitely looked at. I don't see a problem with moving to an area-only voting, as long as we can do it, equitably, so that there's no group that's getting, because you can split this up and possibly. I don't want to gerrymander, I guess is a good term, the districts. I think when we get the census done after the 2020 census, it may be a good time for us to take a look at how we do it.
I like the setup right now. Again, I think the biggest advantage is a community spirit, but I think, at some point, the school district will have to change, and I don't know when that will be.
Having the at-large system of elections is incredibly expensive. It makes it very, very difficult to get out in front of all the voters you want to get to. And so you end up having a system where if you're able to fundraise a lot of money, if you've been doing it for a long time, you have that opportunity to, to get out in front of more voters. But what that can end up doing is stopping people who would be incredibly well qualified and who would make wonderful additions to the board, not being able to get in front of as many people as they need to. And now they're not focused on their community. I think it would depend on the context. If we found out, as we're seeing right now with, as we see right now with the way that people are reacting with taking down monuments and renaming buildings, at the end of the day, we have to be mindful of our community as a whole. And if we have a large part of our community that feels that they have been discriminated against and put down by someone who we've named a building after and we didn't know about it until later, we have to be willing to do what's right now for our community. And if that means changing a name, then I think that's the right thing to do.
Hopefully on any new school namings that we do a pretty diligent job of, checking the background on anybody that's brought in. It seems to be, I have not been involved in that process at all, but in the last few years, it has been, ex-administrators from the district have been involved in a lot of the names. So, those people have been in the district a long time, and I don't think there's anything that's going to pop up on those.
For someone to, judge me based on what I did 10, 15 years ago, I don't see as appropriate. I've grown a lot as a man, and I think that's applicable to the general public. People grow, people evolve, and people mature, and to, judge someone based off of something that they did 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it is not appropriate in my opinion. And again, it really depends on the context of what you're describing and what was done when you say, something wrong.